Okay, we're back. And I'm going to make a mocha and a frappuccino. So, two drinks. I'm going to need 2 shots of espresso, and one is a hot drink and one is a cold drink. So, I'm going to just show you some just quick time measures. One of the ways we're going to do a frappuccino, one of the ways that you can measure how much ice do I use. You can have like 2 scoops of raisins in a raisin bran kind of thing, or you can actually scoop the ice into the actual vessel or the cup that it's going to go in, and you can put that in there. You add your chocolate milk to the blender, and that's how we're going to do it. Whether you're making chocolate milk and then adding it to the blender or adding chocolate sauce, I always prefer to use chocolate milk. It's always consistent. It's always the right amount of chocolatey for customers. And for 20 years, like, we've had the best lineups for frappuccinos in any festival. And I swear to God, it's the chocolate milk. So highly recommend it. Every single drink is consistent and it's always the right amount of chocolate. Anyway, all we're going to use for our frappuccino, like we talked in theory, is we're going to make the ice and the chocolate milk blend, and we're still using our shot of espresso and our whipped cream. Much like a hot mocha, which has a shot of espresso, hot chocolate milk, and whipped cream, a third, a third, a third. So we're gonna make a hot mocha and a frappuccino. We're gonna do 2 shots of espresso and get that ready right away. And I'm just gonna kind of do that quite quickly. There we go. And here, from the left to the right. And we're actually going to use one little shot for that's going to go in the cold drink, and we're actually going to put our cup in for the second shot. And I'm going to get these shots fresh pretty quick. First of all, I've got my chocolate milk for my hot one, and I'm going to steam that really quickly. I'm going to turn the steam on full blast because I just want it hot. I don't need to do any fancy foam or bubbles or anything like that. So here we go. Full blast. We're going to listen to see if the airplane is taking off too. It almost sounds like a plane. If you were here, you would definitely think there was a plane. You'd be looking around going, oh, there's a plane. Okay, we're going to hit our 2 shots. We've got our hot milk ready. And what we can do too here is decorate. We can decorate our cup with a little bit of chocolate sauce. Okay. And it doesn't matter. We'll just drop it down. There's no special way, and we'll just wiggle it and twist and hit the side of that cup. So when we fill it up, it'll look really pretty. Okay. So we've got that all set. This ice scoop, food safe. Do we ever put the scoop? Should I put it back in the ice so I can find it? No. You'll always keep the scoop separate. Just kind of like bulk. You've got all that H1N1 germs on there, and it lands in the ice, and now the ice can get all cross-contaminated. So you'll always keep your scoop separate, just like the bulk bins. And that it's especially important now in the middle of a pandemic. We don't want to cross-contaminate anything too. Always be washing your hands. Always be using food safe techniques. Okay, so we've got our frappuccino cup all ready and decorated. We have our hot mocha ready. We have our shots. Okay, I've got the ice in here. Should I pour my shot in the blender? Good question. No, because sometimes the blender gets full of milk. You pour your shot in there. It gets blended up. You get your frappuccino and you're walking away, and the barista is standing there, and there's like a bunch of leftover in the blender. And some of that is your $6 you paid for a whole shot, and it's still sitting, some of that is still sitting in the blender. So customers like to see them getting their full meal deal of espresso. As soon as the ice moves, it starts to float. That means you've got the right liquid to ice, okay? If the ice is just still solid, you need to add a little bit more liquid. If it's really liquidy and the ice is just going for a marathon swim, you can add a little bit more ice. There's no back and forth. We usually take the blender and put it back in the fridge anyway and add to it on a hot summer day. The blender is constantly going in and out of the fridge and getting drinks made. So accuracy and volume, they don't seem to matter, but as long as your measures are mattering when you're putting that final drink together. Okay, so I'm actually going to hit the blended drink. We'll do that first, okay? Put your hand on top of the blender whenever you turn on a blender. You saw the power, and I have seen the blender tops take off. So remember that everything I sort of caution you about, trust me, in my experience, there's a good reason why I'm telling you not to do that. Okay, so we've got our blended drink. I don't want to pour my hot espresso in a plastic cup. It's gonna melt the cup. So what I do, just a little strategy, is I pour my slushy mix in there first, about halfway. Then I pour my espresso, my full shot. Customers see you pulling that full shot, especially in a festival where we got them all lined up and we're going along pouring those shots in all of our Frappuccinos that are all prepped. And then I top it off with the rest. And now the blended chocolate milk and the espresso is all through the drink. People don't have to like suck up on the straw and get a big hunk of espresso or anything like that. It's nice and blended, and it's looking very, very cool, kind of unusual and artsy. What we're gonna do with the top, we're gonna add, because a Frappuccino is just like a mocha, but it's done in the blender, it actually has some whipped cream on top. So a couple different ways. You can actually take the whipped cream and put it all around the outside and go towards the middle and have the whipped cream that way. If you're new and you don't really trust yourself, you don't want to blast the whipped cream all over the place and have it coming down the sides, this is another really easy, fast, efficient way of putting the whipped cream in. You just put your top on. There. And make sure you don't have two tops. Sometimes two tops, it won't go on. That's what I had there, I think. So, and then you can take your whipped cream, put it straight in through the top of the hole, turn it around, and there you go. Super easy, and it's very pretty. You'll put your straw, always holding the straw, not where the person drinks, always lower down. And there you have this beautiful Frappuccino. And it's blended chocolate milk, shot of espresso, and whipped cream. Super easy, not rocket science. And now we've got our cold one ready. We'll do our hot one because this is super hot. We're gonna pour in another third. So we did a third espresso, another third of hot chocolate. And now I'm going to just add the whipped cream around the edge, all the way around the outside, and then moving to the center. That way it doesn't sink and get all over the place. You can decorate that a little bit. I'm going to really pull that chocolate and I do a little drizzle. So much fun. And a beautiful hot mocha, and basically a mocha in the blender is a Frappuccino. And that's how it's done. Great.